Correction feels uncomfortable, but it's one of God's greatest tools for shaping who you become. Hello, I'm Bishop Cei Dewwar, filling in again for Bishop Robert Gosselin of the Confessing Anglican Church. Each morning, we open God's Word together, not just for information, but for formation, clarity, and the peace that only Christ can give. So, take a breath, settle your mind, and let's begin with the first word. The gift nobody wants, but everybody needs. Because correction rarely feels like a gift, but it is. Who is it that can speak correction into your life? Being corrected is never easy. It presses on our pride. It exposes blind spots we didn't know we had. It forces us to admit that we don't see everything clearly. But without correction, real growth is impossible. Even Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, admitted he needed help. He wrote of his need for an abundance of counselors. Think about that. If the wisest man in history needed many counselors, what does that say about us? Solomon didn't mention this once. He mentioned it 3 times. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no guidance, the people fall. But in an abundance of counselors, there is victory." Proverbs 15:22 says, "Without consultation, plans are frustrated, but with many counselors, they succeed." And Proverbs 24:6 says, "By wise guidance you will wage war, and in abundance of counselors, there is victory." 3 different moments, 3 different contexts, one unchanging truth. You cannot walk in wisdom alone. There are several words that describe a person who refuses counsel. None of them are flattering. Stubborn, arrogant, unteachable. But the person who surrounds themselves with wise, loving, trustworthy voices, that person is positioned for victory. Why? Because no single counselor has all the answers. But together, with shared vision, shared trust, and shared honesty, they help you see what you cannot see on your own. And that's only half the battle. The other half is harder, accepting correction. Our verse today says, "Accept correction, and you will live." Accepting correction requires humility. It requires listening. It requires weighing the counsel of those God has placed around you. And it requires the courage to change your mind and your actions. Correction is not punishment. Correction is protection. Correction is direction. Correction is God's way of shaping you into someone who can carry his wisdom, his character, and his calling. So today, may God give you the wisdom to recognize the counselors he has placed in your life. And may he give you the grace and the humility, not only to hear their counsel, but to accept it. If this message speaks to you, I'd love to hear how God is using correction to shape your life. Leave a comment. Share your journey. It encourages more people than you know. If this video has helped you, tap that like, click on that bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone else who needs this reminder today.